God has blessed me with an amazing life thus far. I grew up in a two-parent household. I was the only child for 9 years. I was spoiled by both of my parents. I'm a mama's girl and a daddy's girl. My parents gave me the best. Growing up, I went to private schools. I had the best, I wore the best, I drove the best. Wait. I didn't necessarily drive the best. I remember growing up, I had this dune buggy, is what we called it. It was this white hatchback car, and it was plenty ugly. But me and my cousins, we went everywhere in it. On Sundays, you could catch us at the skate ring. We went to parties, we went to dances. Anything that the city had going on, we was pulling up in that dune buggy. I went to the best and the brightest high school, the one and only McDonald 35 Senior High School. I was on the majorette team. I later went to college at the University of Louisiana. I went to grad school at the University of Dallas. I had many jobs as an accountant. I became a business owner, and I got married, all at the age of 27. All of my goals and dreams that I had written down thus far, I had accomplished them. Life was good. Then bam, 1 year after marriage, my husband cheated on me and had a baby outside our marriage. I went to my dad, and my dad said, "Kandy, you think the world is perfect. You think you're living in a perfect world. Everything would not be peaches and cream. People are going to make mistakes, and people will wrong you." I had to sit back and think about that thing. My dad was on to something, because up until that point, I had it easy. Now, I'm not saying I didn't experience any tough times, but the good outweighed the bad. And everything that I had, I definitely worked hard for it and earned it. However, I was living in my blessed season. I was living in my Amos 9:13. One thing fast on the heels of another. You wouldn't be able to keep up. Blessings. It was my blessed season. However, my husband and I decided to work things out, and we did 7 more years together as an awesome married couple. And then bam, he won a divorce. I was like, yikes. I didn't see that coming. However, I got through that divorce totally healed, totally whole, totally in my right mind frame. And after that point, I was living for me and my kids. I was betting on Kandy. I was doing things I never did before, working on myself, opening up my mouth so that God can use me, and then bam, I get into a financial storm. Now this financial storm, it was the worst of all the storms put together into one. I had to pinch myself to make sure I wasn't dreaming. This can't be life. I can't be going through this. If I was to tell anybody what I was going through, they wouldn't believe me. Heck, I don't even believe me and I'm going through this. Not Kandy. Not Kandy Rose, who seems to have it all together. Yes, Kandy. One thing about life and one thing about a storm, it does not discriminate. You can have the best upbringings, all the college degrees, all the money in the world, but trials and tribulations will face you. But God is so faithful. You would have not known I was going through anything if I would have told you. Because even during my most roughest, toughest times, God still was making a way out of nowhere. Even during my most roughest, toughest times, God still would provide all my needs according to his riches and glory. Even during my most roughest, toughest times, I still was experiencing joy. I became a new author. I started a new program. I celebrated a decade in business. I received a proclamation from the city. All my kids are doing extremely well. Life is still good in spite of my storms. Sometimes those storms are sent as a test. Sometimes God is trying to get something to you and get something through you, but you're too busy. In my case, God had to totally deplete me for me to keep still for a moment to take heed to his voice and his instructions concerning me in my life. God broke me, depleted me, just to build me right back up, so that I can now properly handle and be ready for the next that He's about to bestow on my life. I'm in my restoration season now. I'm back living in my Amos 9:13. Yes, indeed. It won't be long. God's decree. Things are going to happen so fast your head gonna swim. One thing fast on the heels of the other. You won't be able to keep up. And everywhere you look, blessings. If I can encourage anyone today, I would say keep pushing. Whatever God has told you, or whatever promise God has given you, keep working towards it and keep pushing. Even if life may look contrary to what you know the promise God has given you, keep pushing. Even if you may feel like Job and God has taken everything from you, keep pushing. Even when the business doesn't go as planned, keep pushing. Even when the kids start to act up, keep pushing. Even when the marriage begins to fall apart, pray and keep pushing. And when you get to the end of the month and there is more month than money, keep pushing. Totally cast your cares on God. Surrender and keep pushing. And eventually, everything will fall into place right when it needs to, how it needs to. It will be a divine alignment. I know this because I'm speaking from experience, for this is my testimony. To God be the glory.